Hey everyone, Elliot from Ells Auto Care here. This customer brought me his 2007 Daihatsu and there's a front pad change quickly for you. Let's get on with it. Right, so first things first, you want to check your suspension, your bushes, your ball joint, your drop links, your brake hoses and everything sort of like that, just to make sure there's no other faults that you're not aware of that you can remedy now rather than later. Once you've done that, you want to get your 40mm spanner and loosen off these caliper to carrier bolts so you can free off the caliper. If you just loosen them off for now, then move on to the next one, so you got this ability there when you're leveraging off the next one. That'd be great and easier. Now with these loose and the car being so small, you can literally just compress the piston in yourself by pulling on it, because there's not much there. You can just force it in enough just to clear the pad over the disc. Once you've done that, let's just totally remove these bolts so we can get the caliper off. Just wiggle it free and then secure it up. I'm going to use a bungee cord, but you can use sort of like an old metal coat hanger. I used to use old brake pipe if you have any of that hang around, or cable ties or anything like that. Anything you got just to secure it. I have seen people put it on a box, holding it on the box. So whatever you got really. With that up in the way, then we can get these pads off then. These are a bit stuck on, so I've used a chisel here to tap it off, but you don't have to. You can use a screwdriver or whatever you have to hand. It's just the first thing I grabbed out of the van. See there, I have to give them a bit of a pry off. Now with the caliper up out the way, what I would usually do now is take these guide pins out and clean them up. As you can see, they're working perfectly fine. I know that they've just been serviced not long ago, so we're not going to change them. We're just going to clean up the carrier instead, so these mating surfaces for the pads. So I'm going to use this wire brush and I'm going to give it a squirt of brake clean to get rid of all the dust and just brush away the loose stuff. It's not much on these. This is a well-maintained car, so we're just literally getting rid of the loose surface stuff. There's nothing deep there that needs proper cleaning. Just scrub it up, make sure it's nice and smooth and clean. Okay, now I move on to the caliper. Let's just get it off this bungee cord and I'll bring it down for you to see. Right, so here it is. I'm going to clean this boot off with some brake clean. See all the powder and dust on it. I don't like them drying out because they crack, so I'm just going to clean it off and then cover it with some red rubber grease. I use red rubber grease because it's specially designed for that. If you use like a copper slip or something like that, it causes the swell and rip and drag on things. It's not very good for rubber, so make sure it's like a specialised rubber grease. So just put a thin coating of it around the whole boot. You don't want to put too much on because it can attract dust. So just put a thin coating around it just to make sure it stays moist and not get dried out. Once that's done, then we're going to have to push this piston back in. I'm going to use a G-clamp with this brake pad. Just because it's easier, because it's a nice and small car, you don't have to worry about anything like that. So you just put this G-clamp over the pad and then wind it in. I didn't film it very well, so it's just off of the screen, but if you look towards the top now, you can see it sort of sliding back in. So just do that until it butts up to the surface. Don't force anything back further than it has to, because you will break it and you don't want to do that. Like I said, because it's such a small car, you can push these pistons back in pretty easy. You could have done it with a screwdriver for the inspection hole before you took the caliper off, but I like to be able to check the boot over before I do that. So you just have to do whatever works easiest for you, but they're pretty easy and straightforward, what makes them so fun to work on. So once it's all the way back in, just wind the G-clamp back out and get ready to fit the pads. With all that done, we are now ready to fit the pads. So this is a wear indicator, so that will catch on the disc, ready for when your pads need to be changed. I like to put that on the leading edge, so when your piston presses against that, it hits the disc before the other one does, only marginally, but you know, it happens. So I'm going to lube it up quickly with some caratec. This is like a metal-free lubricant designed for brakes, so it doesn't interfere with ABS sensors or anything like that, and it stops it from squealing and vibrating and rattling. Only put this on the contact points for where the pad touches the carrier. Some people put it on the back. I'll show you now, this here is an anti-squeal and anti-rattle plate, so you don't actually need to put it on the back. It's all been done for you. It's manufactured into the pad. So just fit the pad into place. And then again on the other side, using the caratec again. Again, only on the contact points where it actually makes contact with the carrier. Also be careful not to get any grease. I do it now, but you can just clean it off. But careful not to get any grease on the mating surfaces, so the friction material, just because it will stop you from stopping when you brake. So yeah, I just did it now, and then just wipe it off, and it's all fine. So now we're going to get the caliper down and bolt it back into place. Just line it up there. These got little notches in it, so you need to make sure it's in the right place, or else it won't go on there properly. So just make sure it's all nice and lined up and smooth. Yeah, and then just loosely put each screw in, one at a time. And then when they're both in there secure and you know they're not press threaded, put them up nice and tight. Not too tight, and obviously a bit of common sense is needed here. With them tightened up, see this movement here in the caliper? It's because the shoes aren't sitted down properly because we pushed the piston back. So now what we have to do is stamp on the pedal gently now, not actually stamping it, press it down gently until the pistons sit properly on the pads, and the pads sit properly on the discs. There we are, see it's nice and solid there now. And then just check now, see the disc move, which it does. So we know they're not binding on and everything's sorted. Happy days, now move on to the next slide and get the job done properly. Thank you so much for watching. Just bear in mind, if you carry any of these instructions, it will be at your own risk, and you're responsible for any damage caused by it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and check out my other videos. Cheers everyone, have a good day.